Okay, so we all hear about animal cruelty, how like either rabbits are being tested on, or any animal. Well, I'm here to talk about shark finning. And this is not really common, or you really don't hear about it just because it's sharks. We have a perspective about sharks that they're mean, they'll eat people and kill people and all that stuff. But I'm here to talk about like what shark finning is, what fin soup is, how it's affecting the sharks, and what we can do about it. First of all, shark finning refers to the removal of shark fins. What they pretty much do, the process of it, is they capture the sharks, they cut their fins, and while the sharks are still alive, they just dump them back into the water simply because the actual meat of the shark is not valuable. Like it's not worth taking in and selling it to the market. And fin soup. The fin soup is actually obviously made out of the fins. It's a Chinese soup, one of the most popular Chinese cuisines. They usually do these soups at like Chinese weddings, anything like that sort of thing. Also, these soups can sell for $100 or more a plate. So that's obviously one of the purposes why they do this a lot, because it's a money-making industry. They make a lot of money out of just one bowl of soup. Also, the dried shark fins themselves can sell easily over $300 a pound. And what exactly is being done overall to these sharks is they're obviously killing innocent sharks for their money-making fins. Shark specialists estimate that 100 million sharks are killed for their fins annually, and this I took from sharkwater.com. Also, experts estimate that within a decade, most species of sharks will be lost because of long lining. And long lining is used in finning operations, is the most significant cause of the losses in shark populations worldwide. Every year, tons of millions of sharks die a slow, painful death. Finning is an inhumane practice of hacking off the shark's fins and throwing its still living body back into the sea. It's just really sad. I'm not sure that you guys ever seen some videos. I mean, you guys can definitely YouTube it and just type in shark finning. It's just the saddest thing ever. You see these poor sharks getting their fins cut off. They're still alive. They dump them in, and they're just obviously either drowned. They either drown, they starve to death, or eaten alive by other fish. And it's just so sad. And then shark fins are being harvested in ever greater numbers to feed the growing demand for shark fin soup in Asian delicacies, according to StopSharkFinning.net. These sharks are killed faster than they are being reproduced. So it's just so sad how these sharks are pretty much going to get extinct just for the fact that people are demanding this soup. And it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, they can't, by the time that they reproduce, they probably killed half the sharks already. And this is all because of the money. People are very into the money, obviously, and they find it's like, who cares, they're just sharks, they're not humans, but they're still animals and we should care about them, and we should do something about this. So what we can do is obviously sign some petitions. A lot of websites offer petitions where you sign, or you just pretty much put in your email, your name, and that's pretty much it, like Animal Planet, StopSharkFinning.net. And also in 2000, Bill Clinton had an act, the Shark Finning Prohibition Act, that passed, and that's pretty much that stopped shark finning in the United States, which, I mean, it's obviously a great thing, but it didn't stop it for everywhere else in the country. And it just pretty much obviously prohibits shark finning here in the seas. But the sad thing about it is, overseas, they can still do it and ship them into the United States. That's how we actually do have still access to this shark soup. So what you guys can do is obviously sign some petition so we can just immediately stop it worldwide. And in conclusion, I hope that I informed you enough about this shark finning thing that's going on, and it's just so sad, and hopefully you guys are able to go to, just Google it or sign some petitions to help out these sharks. Thanks.
All right, Courtney, what did you think?
She was really informative. She really defined all the terms for us, because I know probably most of the people in the class aren't aware of this. So it was really cool that she defined everything, and she looked at the audience, which is nice. She had a good projection of her voice, and the speech was like I understood where she was headed, where she was going, and it kind of makes you really think about sharks in a different way instead of like a big scary creature in the sea.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you're going to generate a lot of empathy for the sharks, you know, talking about the poor fish. Maybe if we had those visuals like you were talking about, watching the sharks swimming helplessly, you'd get some more emotional appeal there. But that's just one of those things that's by nature, I think people are not all that sympathetic to something that's got all those teeth and, you know, all the stories that people hear. I think the stronger argument is the argument that there is a threat to the survivability of the species. You need to develop the argument a little bit more about why that's important, why we need to have the diversity of the sharks, how threatening it is. Now, you say, for instance, you had one statistic. That was one of the things I was putting down. I said you need some numbers, and then the very next thing you had was, you know, 100 million sharks are done this way each year. And I said, oh, good, there's a number. I don't know how many sharks there are, you know, in total. I guess nobody does, but we got 100 million. Well, if that's out of 10 billion, then I'm not so sure I'm worried all that much about the sharks. On the other hand, if it's estimated that there are only 300 million sharks in the oceans, then that's a pretty substantial chunk. So we need a little bit more information on that to put it in perspective. Like I said, I think you're kind of... what's the phrase? I'm not going to get it. It's not. There's a good catchphrase, cliche that goes there that it'll come to me later on. I think you're struggling, you know, swimming upstream, trying to get people to empathize with the sharks, that kind of thing. So I think the value argument that you've got there, you need some other criteria. That it's wasteful, for instance, that it is unnecessary. And then at the end on your solutions, it seemed to me like you kind of rushed through those things. Sign a petition and let's not worry about that. Well, how is signing a petition going to stop this internationally? Maybe part of the problem is that there is still domestic consumption in the United States. If we could prohibit the importation, that would work it well here. But I assume that shark fin soup, although it is consumed in the United States, we're probably not the biggest consumers of shark fin soup, so what could we do to those populations, those places in the world where we could have an influence? You know, I'm not sure what influence we have with the Chinese. You know, they've got all our money and we owe them. It's not the other way around. It's not like, you know, they can influence us a heck of a lot more than we can influence them with the economic kinds of things going on now. But maybe we have some other way that we could address those issues, and I think you could follow through a little bit more on that. The presentation stuff, I thought you did a very nice job. I thought you looked at the audience for the whole time that you were talking. Your voice is involved when you're discussing things with us. You seemed purposeful when you were moving. So all of those things I think are pretty solid. All right, thank you.